Hi, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's Mary, and I'm here with this week's edition of 90 Days in 900 Seconds. The Other Way, Season 5, Episode 7, Tales from the Crypto. You know, whoever's coming up with these episode titles are really creative. I give them an A plus. As for this episode, if I was going to give this episode a grade, I would give it a solid C. So let's set 900 seconds on the timer and let's jump right in. So let's start off with Kenny and Armando. And all I have to say is between being menopausal and my son going away to college for his fourth semester, and I just dropped them off this past weekend. And then I watched Kenny and Armando's segment. I'm surprised I didn't drown in my own tears. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's start off with the good news. The good news is Kenny is going to be a grandfather again. His daughter Taylor is pregnant. We start off with a video call between Kenny and his daughter, and she shows him a sonogram. And he's like, I knew that's why your boobies were big and you're glowing. Congratulations. He is so happy. He's going to be a grandfather again. But then it's kind of bittersweet because it reminds him of all the stuff that he's missing out on. So now Kenny, Armando, Hannah, and Armando's mom are on this boat ride. Okay. Now, I just want to say, Hannah, her English skills, that little girl is precious and smart AF. Okay. She speaks better English than some native born speakers that I know. Okay. Now, as for Kenny's Spanish speaking skills, Kenny, you know I love you. Okay. But please, there's all sorts of apps out there. You could learn Spanish. Please, Kenny, please. The college try because your Spanish skills are horrible. Oh my goodness. Okay. So they're on the boat and Armando tells his mother about going to the fertility clinic and talking about, surrogacy and all this stuff. And we find out, because we did not know this previously, that Hannah's mom was 8 months pregnant when she got into the car accident. So not only did Armando lose Hannah's mom, he lost a child. And this still deeply affects him to this day. And he was telling his mom, Hannah was off at the front of the boat, admiring the scenery, out of earshot. And he's telling his mom, that sometimes he feels like if he could have another child, that that baby that he lost could be reincarnated in that child, that and he's really emotional, really, really emotional. Kenny, in his confessional, gets emotional because he says, he didn't realize how much this is really still affecting Armando. He just wants to make Armando happy. But having another child at this age, he's just not feeling it, honestly. And the fact that he's going to be a grandfather again and Armando wants him to be a father again at the same time, I feel where Kenny is coming from. Honestly, I do. But the emotions between the two of them and the tears, guys, please stop because I'm going to drown in my own tears. Just saying. So now moving on to Kirsten and Julio, whatever you would like to call him. I would like to call him Flake. Okay, that's my name for him, Mr. Flake. So Christian is back home and she goes to meet her friend Yara. It's been a couple of months since she's, returned home from New York. And of course, Julio has changed his tune. But I will get into that in a moment. So she's sitting there, Christian, and she tells her friend Yara everything. From Julio's mother had no idea who she was until a week before she arrived. She had no idea that Julio was moving in with her, everything. And her friend was like, he's a dick. I can't believe he did that. Like, I can't believe he did all this. And then Christian reveals that Julio has told her that he cannot move in January as they planned because his mom still needs him around. So she was like, sure, no problem. You know, if you need another 6 months, that's fine. But he wouldn't even commit to the 6 month timeline. So her friend is like, Christian, I'm sorry, but I think you need to put your foot down and give him an ultimatum. And Christian's like, I've been dating him. I put all this, emotion and time into this, and it's really hard for me to let him go. But I think that's what I'm going to have to do. And put your fingers in your ears if you don't want to hear this for a minute. Spoiler alert, from the looks of their social media, it looks like she gave him the ultimatum, and he didn't step up because he's here and she's traveling with her girlfriends in South Africa. I was just checking out her safari photos a couple of days ago. You go, Christian. Okay. So anyway, it looks like she's going to give him the ultimatum, and we shall see what happens. Now, Holly and Wayne. Okay. Now, I get Holly. She wants air conditioning. To me, that is a basic need. I need air conditioning. Okay. If I was going to move to another country, honestly, and I'm the type of person that does my research, I would make sure that I have air conditioning. And that is a deal breaker for me, especially for menopausal Mary who has hot flashes. That is a deal breaker for me. So she realizes that she's not going to be able to have air conditioning because Wayne cannot afford the extra $3,000 for a house that has air conditioning. Okay. And she is like, what the hell? But let's get into this. They're going house hunting, but Wayne can't afford to buy a house at all. So he decides just to pacify her and go house hunting. So they meet up with this realtor in a gated community, and Holly thinks she has $4 million to buy a house, and everyone's looking at her like 4 million. And she's like, "Oh, I don't know the conversion rate, $500,000 US." And Wayne is like, "Excuse me, where did you come up with that? Like, I don't have that money." Basically, Wayne's business is falling apart. Okay, he lost 2 contracts, and since Holly was originally with him in South Africa the first time, his business was really successful that time. In the time that she has went back to the US and returned this second time to marry him, he has lost 2 major contracts. Okay. And as he tells her, sitting there in the little conference room, he has decided to invest $40,000 in cryptocurrency. And he lost it all. Oh, well. So we're not going to be able to have a honeymoon either, Holly. Okay. I can't buy a house. We can't have a honeymoon because we are basically living hand to foot. Okay. So I'm sorry that I'm springing this on you while you're already here. And we're going to get married in a couple of days. But, you'll stick by me, right? Everything will be cool and you'll stick by me. And Holly, I mean, he doesn't say all this, but Holly is just starting to grasp the reality of what's going on here. That Wayne has made financial decisions without telling her. Wayne's finances are not as stable as she thought that they were. She is not as financially stable as she thought she was going to be. She is in a country where she cannot work. She's not going to have air conditioning. She's not going to have a place to run at night because she is stuck on having a place to run at night. These were her requirements for the house. Air conditioning, which I get. She wanted a swimming pool. She wanted a place to run at night. I'm like, girl, okay, I get the air conditioning. For me, that's a must. But why is she stuck on having a place to run at night? We all know you don't run with that hair. So anyway, she takes off. She's a runner, apparently. She took off in heels. She ran out of that room and she's like, when you are ready to talk to me like a normal person, because Wayne was getting pissed off, she was getting pissed off, and she decided to run out of that room in heels. And she's running up the road. And as we see in next week's preview, Wayne leaves her ass there and Wayne takes off. So let's see what happens next week with these two. But another spoiler alert, you may want to stick your fingers in your ear again. By looking at these two on their social media, they are definitely not together. She did not marry him, guys. She is here in the States and he is there in South Africa, and they are not together. Okay, so there you go. Now moving on, Mary and Brandon. Oh, Lord. Okay. Mary says that she's feeling better. She's feeling better about her relationship with Brandon. And, that he's been here for a couple of days. And, everything is good. So they're going to go to church now because she wants Brandon to become a Catholic like her. And, church is very important to her. So they're going to go to church. So they get inside church and Mary tells him not to look at anybody but the priest and her. Yes, you heard right. Brandon was not allowed to move his head, his eyes, breathe, or anything except to the priest and to Mary. And Mary, reprimanded him at least twice during the mass. Don't look at girls. Don't look at girls. Don't look at girls. We're in church, Mary. Please give me a break. If there was a 99-year-old woman in a wheelchair and Brandon looked at her, Mary would swear that Brandon was cheating on her with this 99-year-old woman in a wheelchair. It's like, give me a fucking break. And then you know what else is give me a fucking break? When Brandon finally grows a set of balls and calls her out on her shit, she has a panic attack and a nervous breakdown. This seems to be like a pattern, Mary. When he called you out on turning off your Wi-Fi while you were hanging out with your friends, you started crying and had a panic attack. You seem to always start to pour on the tears. When Brandon was having that family dinner and you didn't like what his family was saying, what did you do? You started crying. You pour on the tears when you want to manipulate. And I call bullshit. So Brandon is calling you out. He's telling you this is bullshit. You hang out with your friends. You do whatever the fuck you want. And I can't even breathe next to a woman without you accusing me of cheating on you. Like, this is bullshit. And what does Mary do? I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. So, as we see next week, the producer comes running out with her inhaler. Brandon starts crying because he is just like, this is bullshit. Like, she needs to trust me or this is not going to go anywhere. Mary needs serious therapy. Honestly, they both need serious therapy, but Mary needs it the most. She says this is all of a result of being abandoned by her parents. Mary needs therapy, or this is never going to resolve itself, okay? She is not going to be satisfied in her relationship with Brandon ever, and it's just going to implode and self-destruct. And, spoiler alert, the child that they are having will be collateral damage. Okay? So please, Mary, get therapy and deal with your issues. Just saying. So basically, that was this week's edition of The Other Way. Thank you so much for watching me, guys. Please subscribe if you don't already. Please hit that like button. And if you guys are checking out the newest 90 Day Fiancé spinoff, The Last Resort, Kelly Brown and I were on last night. A little update with Kelly and a little recap and clarification of some things that you may not know. So if you haven't already, please check out my interview with Kelly. Thank you so much. And don't forget, share my video with a friend or 10. And guys, I just want to throw this in. If you would like to support me for all the content and the tea that I bring you, there's a super thanks button right down here somewhere. Right down here somewhere. So if you guys could just hit that super thanks and send me a thanks, I would love you guys so much because having a kid in college is really expensive and running the channel is not cheap. So, and I love bringing you guys the tea. Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye.